to engage with you when you have, in a lot of ways, we have very limited time to impress them.
Right, right.
If you ever, would you say the realtors have a positive or negative view of us as lenders in our industry?
I think they have a positive view.
Okay. Do you think,
I think they know we work hard.
Okay, that's fair. Do you think realtors generally want to talk to every loan officer that calls them?
No.
Okay. Why do you think that is?
Well, if you don't have anything of value,
okay,
then they just want to get off the phone, and a lot of times they already have a relationship with somebody else. Well, you know,
awesome.
if they're a good realtor, they have a relationship
sure.
with the loan officer
sure.
that they've been
sure.
working with.
So how do we differentiate ourselves from every loan officer that undoubtedly probably calls on them and solicits them and actually get them to see us the way that we want them to see us, not the way they perceive us based on all their previous experiences? Do you have any ideas on that?
Well, I know I went and had, you know, a light snacks with 2 of them last week.
Yeah.
You know, not a heavy dinner, just,
sure.
you know, do you have some time? Can we sit and meet? Let's see if, I always ask people, let's see if we speak the same love language.
Yep.
Because we don't with everybody. And so they were open to that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So here's what has worked for me in the past, and here's what a lot of my loan officers are and have implemented into their business. So I'm going to ask, so Kevin, are you on the phone, brother?
Yes, I'm on the phone.
Awesome. Pam, are you on the phone?
Yes, I am, Doug.
Oh, awesome. Great. Everybody's here. Okay. So I'm going to ask you guys a series of questions that I ask every realtor, and I've done presentations in front of agents with, and it really creates a really powerful stage. So if you guys would honor me just by kind of not shuffling your papers around and just kind of being quiet, so I can let you guys, so you guys can just listen to this. This is, to me, it was really impactful. So I'm going to ask Kevin. I'm going to ask you a question. Kevin, what do you think the definition of a successful transaction is?
I think great communication between the lender, the borrower, and the real estate agent.
Hey, Kevin, buddy, and you're on your phone and or computer, and I'm getting a lot of.
Can you hear me?
Are you on the computer?
Say again. Hello? I'm here, but it's breaking up. I'm not sure what's wrong. Maybe I'll call back in.
No, Kevin's, mine's doing the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Is Doug still with us?
Here? Is everybody else?
Okay.
No.
Sounds like a robot, Doug.
Okay. I'm going to try calling back in. Hold on a second.
All right.
Does that sound any better?
Much better.
Oh, great. Okay. Sorry about that. So, all right. I'm going to ask a question, and it doesn't matter who answers. What's the definition of a successful transaction? Feel free to answer it. Anybody?
Great communication between all parties.
Love it. Anybody else?
Closing on time, numbers being right, everybody in communication and everybody on the same page.
Awesome. Awesome. I think everything that you guys just said is perfect. But I also think that that's the bare standard minimum. That's the bare minimum standard for every transaction. I think that is absolutely the prerequisite that everybody should have if they're a professional in this industry. That should be commonplace. My definition of a successful transaction is to get a referral before the client closes. That's the definition of a successful transaction for me. I believe everything else that we do, if we do it professionally, with care, with attention to detail, we will earn the right to ask for a referral and probably get one. That's my definition of a successful transaction. Can anybody disagree with that?
No.
Nope.
Does everybody agree that that probably is a clearer indication of what we all define as a successful transaction?
Yes.
Awesome. So let me ask you another question. What's the would you prefer to work with a lead or a referral? Which one would you choose to work with?
Referral.
Referral.
Why? Why would we choose to work with a referral over a lead?
Better
Eliminated trust issues. Yes.
Trust, relationship, somebody's already established our quality. Right? These are all things about referral.
Yeah.
They're probably less likely to shop us. They're less likely to commoditize us. They're less likely to treat us less than who we believe we are. Right? Is that all fair?
Correct.
Yes.
How about that fact that typically referrals are free? You know, we don't pay for a referral. We put forth all the energy and effort into the relationship that generates the referral, but to get the referral, it doesn't really cost us anything, right? Where a lead typically does. True?
True.
Right.
Okay. So let me just rehash the first two questions. So A, we all believe that the definition of a successful transaction is getting a referral. We all prefer to work with a referral over a lead. So then I'm going to ask you, and before you answer, I'm going to ask you the next question, but don't answer because I want to qualify it with something. What makes you referable? And here's what I've heard in the past. I've heard hardworking, licensed, dedicated, returns calls, honest, have integrity, been in the business a while, have a bunch of programs, work harder than the next. You won't find anybody who cares more than I do. Somebody that's available on the weekend, somebody that works 24/7. These are all the qualities that I hear from LOs every time I talk to them on what makes them referable. So if your competition's saying this to your audience, how do you convince them that you are more valuable to them and more referable so that they choose to work with you? This is when I hear crickets, okay? And it's designed that way. Go ahead, Lachelle.
Well, I think what makes me stand out and makes a difference is because I think I really educate and I set an expectation up front. I mean, I go through the whole process, and sometimes people want a $200,000 home, and I'll talk them down to maybe $250,000.
Yep.
And so
you're rare,
they appreciate it.
You're rare. Okay. But here's the message. Here's the message that I want you to understand. This message isn't for you. The fact that you can answer that question, Michelle, gives you a 60% greater chance of success when you're face-to-face with your clients than the others that you compete against. And I'm willing to bet you that most of your clients that you meet with, you end up closing. Is that fair?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, so it's just the difference of whether or not you're meeting with enough people and getting in front of enough agents. But here's the science behind what I'm telling you. So a typical realtor conversation when I meet with agents, I call flirting. When I flirt with agents, it usually is only for 30 minutes. I usually set a stage. I call them up, ask them to meet with me for 30 minutes, no more. And when I sit down with them, I take control over the conversation, and I do it in a cool way, because what I'm trying to do is speak to my audience's pain. What do you think most realtors' greatest level of frustration in their own personal business is? They don't have enough. Would you guys all agree that most agents would love to have more business?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Do you think that an agent would prefer to work with a referral over a lead?
Yes.
Do you believe that every agent at some point could define a successful transaction as getting a referral?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And do you think that every agent you speak to knows the definition of what being referable means? No.
No.
Not a single agent will give you an answer that defines their referability. And herein lies the power behind your 30-minute flirting appointment with them. You're speaking to your agent's pain. Your audience is not you. You don't need to sit there and tell them about I, me. That's not what that presentation's about. The reality is like what Lachelle said earlier, we have to decide if we're speaking the same love language. Well, the same love language is we all want to work with more clients who appreciate and validate us, and the only client that typically does that is a referral. But herein lies the greatest problem. Most realtors are not referable. They'll ask for business, but they're not referable. And more often than not, the realtor-lender partnership does not produce a result that's referable. So here's how that conversation typically goes. Mr. Agent, here's what I've heard, here's what they've said, and what makes you referable, right? Not a single one of you has the ability to define that, which actually hurts your ability to convince the clients that you're currently working with to refer you to people they care about. And it's a proven fact that 60% of your clients at any given point in time during the process is talking favorably about you to somebody, to their friends, to their family, to their coworkers, but they don't know that you need their help. And would I be correct in assuming that you would love to work with more people just like the clients that you're working with now? And every realtor would say, absolutely. And I go, so then that begs the question, do you believe that the greatest success of a transaction is going to come from you being referable and your lender not being referable, or your lender being referable and you not being referable? And the truth is that both of you guys operating from the same page produces the best possible chance for you guys to earn more business for free. So my question to you is, would you prefer to work with a lending institution that provides, or no, better yet, let me say it this way. Imagine if your business, your lender provided you with weekly updates that were timely and that were accurate so that you could call your clients and give them the update and that they weren't calling you. How would that sound? And most agents would go, that would be fantastic. How would you like to have a lending situation where your client actually calls you up and says, thank you for introducing you to the lender that you're working with? Love that. Let me ask you, how would it feel if the lender that you're working with referred you a client back to you that was pre-approved and ready to buy because they got a referral from a client that you referred them? And they would go, that's amazing. And I go, well, if you're not working with a lending relationship that provides that, my business model works exactly like that. And I would love to share more about that with you, but we only have 30 minutes today, and I promised you I wouldn't take up any more of your time. The message speaks to the pain that the agent has. Now what it provides you is a chance that every week, if you want to be on Thor's Hammer, if you want to continue to call on those agents, the call with them isn't about the newest and best product that's out there. The call becomes a matter of, hey, this is Lachelle or Pam or Kevin. I was calling because I had such a great time meeting with you last week, and I wanted to find out if you had anybody that you were working with that you want to amplify the relationship with to earn a referral from. Meaning, I would love to work with one of your clients that I could help you amplify the relationship with to help you increase your chances of getting a referral from them. That's what you said you wanted. Give me a call. I'd love to chat with you. That happens now for the next 8 to 12 weeks. How does that presentation differ from the meetings that you're having with your agents? Are you qualifying? What's that?
You're giving them value.
You're giving them value, but more importantly, you're speaking to their pain. You're speaking to the challenge that they're facing. This isn't about selling a product. I never wanted to be judged based on the products that I had. I wanted to be judged based on how I could improve their life And the only way that I knew how to improve their life, because I was really good at it, was creating referable situations and orchestrating referral moments and pushing referrals back to my agents. And I'm telling you, the moment you can sit down and sit in front of a realtor and not use the word I or me, you become infinitely more powerful and persuasive to them because you're speaking to them in their words. If you noticed in the presentation that I gave you, I didn't say I can do this for you. I said, imagine if you had a lending relationship. Imagine if your lender did this. Imagine if your lender provided you this. Imagine if and then at the end, after they've had that seed planted, you simply say, well, that's what my business does. I can provide that to you. But they receive the message so much more deeply when it doesn't come from a statement of I do this or we do this. And when you speak to them about the referrals that they're not getting, you're speaking directly to a challenge that every single realtor has. And the beauty of it is that when you tell them that they don't know what it means to be referable, because this is what all the other agents say, it actually perks their interest up and they become more interested in talking to you more because you now provide, like you said, you provide something of value that they've never heard before. And I'm here to tell you that if you start a conversation off with a realtor that you've just met face-to-face and you start a conversation off that way, you will find that that conversation then qualifies the realtor, makes the realtor look at you in a significantly different way than previous lending meetings that they've had in the past. And you are not talking about the rates and the fees and the turn times and everything else. You're talking about the thing that really matters the most, the definition of a successful transaction, the ability to work with the people that they choose to work with, and teaching them what it means to actually become more referable. Do you think that conversation is a significantly different one than every other lender that they've ever met with has with them?
Yes.
And here's how it all ties together. Here's what makes me referable, because that was always a question back to me. And they would go, well, then what makes you referable? And I said, well, I'm glad that you asked. What makes my process and business different is that we communicate on a high level. And I know that that's a broad question, but let me set the stage. Are we in all agreement that the biggest challenge between realtors and lenders in our industry boils down to one issue, and that's the lack of communication, right? Realtors and lenders do not communicate effectively with one another. They don't tell the truth sometimes. They don't give the full details, and they're very, very, very sporadic on their communication. Does everybody agree? Is everybody on the same page with that?
Yeah, I would say so sometimes.
So here's what makes my business different. We have analyzed our industry and have decided there are 3 things that fall under this umbrella of communication. And here are the 3 components that make me referable to my clients. 1, I'm an exceptionally talented consultant. Lachelle, do you embrace that wholeheartedly? You believe that your number 1 goal is to educate your consumer and provide them with the answers to the questions that even they don't know that they have. Your job is to extract them and ask them the right questions and dig deep and uncover every stone so that they're fully informed. By being a consultant, it elevates your skills because they look at you as being somebody of value, not just a commodity. And let me give you an example. Do you think that when you sit down with a client and you start asking them questions well, let me back up a second. We've gone over this before, I think. We've talked about, is it better to be, if somebody notices you and says, oh, you look great, or you come into the room and say, how do I look? We've gone over that, haven't we?
Yes, we did that the first week.
Right. And being solicited or unsolicited has a totally different meaning with our clients. So if you're able to ask them questions that they know that they may have in their brain but aren't able to ask, and we extract that, what does that do to to their perception of us, right? It increases it. We become more valuable, right? It feels like we're connected to them.
Yes.
We are great consultants. Do you believe that you can be a great consultant and work on the internet, work for a big bank, a credit union, or a discount shop? Can you be a great consultant and still work for one of those 4 companies? There's no way you'd make enough money because you don't get paid enough to consult, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that you compete against those branches, those other types of businesses? Are you a better consultant than everyone that works at those shops more often than not? Yes,
Absolutely.
without question. So the first thing is we're great consultants. That's 1/3 of our skill set that makes us referable. The second is we're an amazing negotiator. We negotiate the transaction with the bank, with the underwriter, with the processors, as if it was our own money. We will negotiate the conditions, the challenges, the issues, whatever we deal with. Our focus is that we are treating your transaction like it's our own money. Can you get that from one of those other 4 different entities? Credit union, bank, internet company, or a discount shop? Probably not, right? You can't, because they work on volume. And to Michelle, the last of the 3 things, and this speaks to what you said a little bit ago, is that we are managers of people's fears and expectations. Because we're extremely great consultants, we know what their hot buttons are. We know what the emotional side of the transaction looks like. We know how to communicate our job and the process to our clients. And we understand how we manage our clients' fears and expectations by over-communicating, by under-promising and over-delivering. We understand all those things. So when I look at a realtor and I say, these are the 3 things that my team and I get paid to do. We get paid to do those 3 things at an exceptionally high level, and they all fall underneath the umbrella of communication. Now, the amazing part is, Mr. Realtor, is that you compete against discount shops. You compete against, for sale by owners. You compete against other realtors in your area. Don't you think that those same 3 qualities apply to your business? Doesn't what make you different mean that you're a great consultant, you're a great negotiator, and you're an amazing manager of people's fears and expectations? Do you think that if you were able to communicate that to your clients in the initial consultation, that you would earn people's trust and respect at a much higher level than you do currently? And what do you think people say at that point?
Yes.
Okay.
So we're talking about how we can change the perception of realtors' opinion of us. The idea that our value has been pigeonholed based on the previous experiences that every realtor has had. And most realtors, if they're willing to meet with you, are probably not happy with their current lending situation. A realtor isn't meeting with you if they have a just peachy realtor lending relationship. So more often than not, you meeting with a realtor means that they're disgruntled, that they're unhappy with their current relationship or don't have one, and you have a very limited amount of time to change their perception of you, and you have to be able to communicate your value very concisely, very directly, and do it in a way that speaks to their needs. And I believe that presentation, and I'm recording this so you guys can hear the replay, I believe that this presentation works flawlessly in creating a relationship with a realtor that gives you the chance to follow up with them for the next 12 weeks, because your calls are no longer going to be about product, rate, turn times, how's the weather, because they're not calling you back. The question then becomes is, hey, Mr. Realtor, I want to introduce you to a new strategy that we're using in our business to help create referrals or to help amplify relationships. I would love to share it with you. Maybe you could implement it into your business. If you want to learn more about it, give me a call. If after 5 or 6 or 7 weeks they don't call you, what does that tell you about that realtor?
They weren't ready for referrals.
They're not referable. And you don't want to spend time chasing those non-referable type agents. And the call that we're having every week, guys, this is part of where you can gain some of that knowledge. The information that I'm giving with you today, this whole manage fears, negotiate, and consult, that's the same presentation that you should be able to go out to your realtors and sit down and teach and go, I want to help you guys increase your referrals, because you said that that's important to you. You said you want to be more referred. You said you prefer to define a successful transaction as a referral, but you don't know what it means to be referable. Well, let me help teach you on what you can say to become more referable. And then partner with a lender that is referable, and you increase your chances of increasing your business by 60%. What doesn't sound good about that, and how salesy is that? Was that a sales pitch, or was that a, I bring value to you, if you want it, I will help you, and we can do this together? Does that make sense? Does it resonate with either of you guys?
Yes. Yes.
What do you guys hear in what I'm saying? Like, what kind of feedback would you give me?
Go after the ones that have the same goals that you have. If they don't teach them, and if they still don't come around, that's not a referable agent that you want to get in business with.
And how many agents do you call on that you meet with do you actually get business from?
1 out of
Number
10.
that
Probably 90%.
Say that again?
Mine's about 90%.
So you meet with, so for every 10 agents you meet with, you get 9 of them referring you 1 transaction every month.
Yeah, not every month, but when they have referrals, yeah.
Okay, so when they have referrals. So how many agents right now are you working with that are sending you business?
Probably about a dozen.
Okay, so, and how many units a month are you closing?
7 to 8. 8.
Okay, so
About 8.
Okay, so about 8 a month consistently. That's great. So when we talk next week about how to grow your business, where do you think your greatest chance of increasing your business comes from? Because I think from our last conversation, Pam, you had said, and I'm going to find the notes. My apologies, I wasn't as on top of it. So Pam, 4 to 6 monthly. You your target is to go to 8 to 12 monthly, is what you said.
Yes.
And right now you said you're averaging 4 to 6, but you'd like to double that.
Yeah.
So help me understand. Are you at 4 to 6, or are you at 8 to 12 right now?
Yes, I'm at 4 to 6.
Okay. So what your goal then is to close 8 to 12, and based on the numbers that you're telling me, you need to have at least, I would say, about 15 to 16 realtors in your pipeline every single month to guarantee that you're closing your 8 to 12 a month. So we only need to find you about 5 more solid agents that you can connect with.
Probably a little more than that, because 2 of the agents aren't full-time agents. I need to get more agents that are full-time agents.
Okay, so what we're going back to then is the real challenge. We need to get in front of more quality, full-time, producing realtors, because that's how we get paid. We don't get paid to do meetings with realtors. We don't get paid to call realtors for appointments. We get paid to generate relationships that turn into referrals that we can use to pay our bills. So the question that I have is, the presentation that I've just given you guys, do you think that puts you in a much better position to qualify the agent in the beginning and to give you a reason that's not salesy or leaning on them? It gives you a reason to call them over the next 12 weeks, because you literally will have something of value to give to them that could improve their business. And the call to action is, who do you work with right now that I can help amplify the relationship with? Because that's really what we're asking for. We're not asking for a loan for ourselves. We're asking that realtor to put us in contact with one of their clients so that we could amplify the relationship between the realtor and the client, because we know we do such a great job that that client's going to go back to that realtor and say thank you, hence amplifying the relationship. And because we're good and really professional and really dedicated to our job and what we love to do, we will probably earn the right to ask for a referral, and in most cases get one that we can then pass back to that realtor. So why wouldn't a realtor want to partner with us and not, why wouldn't a realtor not want to partner with us? There's zero reason, right?
Right.
If they have a lending relationship that they're happy with, fantastic. But most realtors over the course of a 12-week period will reach a point where they wish they were working with a lender that was referable. And the definition, which we've gone over, is what you guys do. So the reason to meet with a realtor, to flirt with them, isn't to commit to dating them. The reason that you're flirting with a realtor is to see if you guys speak the same love language. And if you do, you have 12 weeks, or the realtor has 12 weeks to prove to you that they want the same thing you do. And because a realtor is more capable of generating client referrals than you are, your only responsibility is to speak to them in their language, which is the ability to earn more business, and then to make them look good in front of their clients, and then ultimately teach them how to become more referable themselves by partnering up with you. Does that message sound a little bit different than calling them up regarding a DPA program?
Yes.
Definitely.
Which do you think would last longer over a 12-week period of time? Calling them up about the DPA program, or calling them up and asking them to see if, to reach out to them to say, hey, listen, you said you were interested, because it was their words, right? You simply asked the question and they agreed to it. So it's their words. You wanted to become more referable. You'd want to work with more referrals. And the best way that I can show you how to do that is to let me work with one of the clients that you have, or how can I amplify one of the relationships that you're currently working with? I would love to show you what I do or what we do. You could have that message be the same message for 12 weeks and if it never get old or be uncomfortable. Literally for 12 weeks, you could call realtors and leave that message. And the ones that don't call you back either don't have the business, don't care, or have a lending relationship that they're happy with. Either way, you know where you stand. Is that something that you guys would be willing to put into practice?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to send you guys the replay. Take a second and at least make an effort to reach out to 3 realtors over the next 7 days and have that conversation with them. It doesn't have to be perfect because they don't know what the message is. They've never heard it before. So don't compare what I say to how you say it. Just deliver the message of those 3 questions and watch what happens with the relationship. Watch what happens with the dynamic inside of the conversation. You become less interesting and they become more interested in you because they want to understand more about how you can help them improve their business, which I'm here to tell you, not a single lender that I've met in 12 years has ever had that kind of a conversation with a realtor. Most of them always just talk about the same thing: rates, fees, products, programs, turn times. And in all fairness, realtors don't give a crap about that. What realtors care about is where their next paycheck is coming from. And you know as well as I do, every realtor would prefer to work with a referral. So how do we help our agents become more referable? It starts with partnering with us and then spending more time with us so we can teach them how to become more referable. That's my 2 cents for the day, guys.
All right.
Was that
Thank
helpful?
Appreciate it, Doug.
Was that worthwhile?
Yes, very well.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Awesome. Awesome. Cool. Okay, guys. I will talk to you guys next week. Have a great weekend. Enjoy your time with your family and your friends. I will look forward to our chat next week. If you guys have any questions,
All right,
give me a call. Love to help.